25.
Week one behind us, the judge is asking 6 potential jurors to return next week for further questions, bringing the total number of jurors asked back to 29.
And our legal team is back here with us for a recap of the week and looking forward. Richard Kurtz, John Phillips, thanks for coming in tonight again.
Thank you.
Okay, so we have 5 days of jury selection now under our belt. Where do things stand? What happens next?
Well, basically, we're knocking out the pretrial publicity issues, the media issues, and where we're going to start going next is going to be scheduling issues and calendaring issues, because if it's 2 to 4 weeks of being sequestered, there's going to be some people have some serious problems with that.
And that is the big development this week, that the judge made the ruling that the jury would be sequestered.
Is it moving at expected pace?
It's slow, but yeah, it's moving as well as it can with all the pretrial publicity that this case has had.
Anything surprising about what some of the jurors have said thus far during the questioning process?
Well, it's funny you say that, because there's been a lot of, I don't want to say surprises. People are being abundantly honest. They're coming forward and saying things you would not normally hear a juror say. I mean, they're either vocally for one side or the other side, and I'm actually very surprised and pleased with what I'm hearing.
But for a moment there were some folks like, I've never heard of the case.
Right. right. You know, and that's what they are. And you know, they're saying that because people are jockeying to get on that jury. And so if you say you've heard of the case and you've reached a conclusion or you reached an opinion about it, you're off the panel. So some of them are saying, I don't know anything about this case.
Well, it was interesting because the one guy that was caught for being jockeying to get on the case via the Facebook went today, and they escorted him out and said, if you go back, you're banned from this courthouse unless you get in like real trouble, unless you have a ticket, you're done. Give him a trespass warrant. So.
Another interesting development is that George Zimmerman's father has put out a book on Amazon, available on Amazon for your Kindle, about the case, about his son.
The Friday of jury selection, you know, here he is publicizing with a chapter called Who Are the Real Racists, singling out the defense lawyers and Obama and the NAACP. It's like, well, first of all, I got a problem with that, because if you're singling out somebody based upon race, you might be a racist, not Jeff Foxworthy, you know? But it's the timing is poor, the idea was poor. It's pretty offensive.
Richard, can it impact the trial?
Well, it can, because obviously, as we're hearing, some people have little hidden agendas, whether they're telling us what their agenda is or they're not telling us what the agenda is. If people are ordering this book, that maybe even jurors are ordering this book, the judge is going to tell them when you're sequestered, bring a good book. I'm going to assume they're not going to bring that book or entitled, but it could impact the panel.
Very interesting. Well, we want to take a look at some of our poll results. Each day we've had 6 questions online at firstcoastnews.com in the Zimmerman trial section. A couple of the responses, the jury will be seated next week or the week after next or later. That's split 50-50. When do you all think it will be, the jury will be seated?
I personally think this is going to take every bit of next week to get the jury, and I think probably they'll start the following Monday.
I agree. Two panels of 30 to 40 people, they should be able to find 8 people, 10 people to
Do
try
you anticipate Judge Nelson is still waiting for a pool of 30 before we go through that second round of...
Well, keep in mind, each side is going to get 10 different strikes, each side. So if they want to keep 6 jurors plus 4, that's 30. But then there's still going to be other issues that come up where they can be stricken for cause. So if I were the judge involved in this case, and the judges that I know, it's going to be more than 30.
Okay, and just a final question as far as how long this trial will take. Any expectations?
I'd say 2 to 4 weeks on top of the jury selection. It's going to be a slow process.
Sure. Okay. And I think that's a fair estimate. 2 to 4 weeks is reasonable.
John, Richard, thanks so much. We'll have them back on again next week to break it all down. Still to